Hello and welcome to Rathods IS Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 15 September 2024. So let's get started with our discussion. And here today is Sunday. So here we are going to focus on especially science and technology page and even other news page. Okay, so almost whatever the topics that we discussed in this week, they had been reflected in FAQ page. So here just whatever the topics we had did in our discussion, so just go through that revision part, it will be more than enough. Okay, let us see the important articles of the day. So first here, if you see this article, it says MP to ban liquor meat consumption in temple towns along river Narmada. Okay, so here the keywords is, the first one you have to focus on this Narmada, and next one is ban on liquor and meat consumption. So these are the two important things that you have to focus. Okay, so let me write those keywords. First one is ban of meat and liquor consumption. First keyword is ban on meat and liquor consumption, and second keyword is river Narmada. Okay, so here whenever we are banning this meat and liquor in these temple towns of river Narmada, so what happens, it will be having impact on society. Okay, and actually this ban of meat and liquor, it is related to religion. Okay, so religion, we can read about that religion part and its influence in art and culture, which comes under your history part. Okay, and here in your GS paper 1, you have to see about this river Narmada. So in Indian geography, you will be studying about this chapter of drainage. So in drainage, we have Himalayan rivers and we have peninsular rivers. So in this peninsular rivers, you have to see about west flowing rivers and east flowing rivers. So this Narmada is one of the west flowing river. Okay, you have to see about this river and which are the tributaries, which are the right bank, which are the left bank, and even Narmada Bachao Andolon is also in use, and even you have to see about the Sardar Sarovar Dam. Okay, so all those things that you have to see from this article point of view. And we are going to see about what will be the impact of ban of this meat and as well as liquor along these towns of river Narmada. So what are the things that you have to extract from this article? Okay, so if you see the title, MP to ban liquor, meat consumption in these temple towns along river Narmada. So Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister has ordered the closure of liquor and meat shops in temple towns along this river Narmada. Why? Because they want to maintain religious sanctity. Okay, so they want to maintain its sanctity. So this decision, which allows cabinet meeting, and in this cabinet meeting, they focused on preserving of rivers cleanliness, and even they want to protect river environment. And now here there is one allegation from opposition party. Opposition party is saying that yes, this idea is good, like to ban this meat and as well as alcohol shops along this river Narmada, especially in these temple towns. But why you are neglecting this Ujjain? So it is not applicable to Ujjain. Why? So this is the one question which is raised by this opposition party. So what are the key points that you have to take from this article? The first one is this river Narmada is very important because of its immense spiritual value, and even whenever government is taking some steps to protect the religious beliefs, it is a very good step so that we can preserve our culture and our heritage as well. So even we can preserve our sacred places. So in this way, yes, this step is having a cultural significance. So first important point here is yes, this step, it is a positive step. We are going to preserve our culture. And next one here is who is taking decision, that is our government, right? So whenever this kind of proactive steps are taken by government, we can understand that there is increased governmental responsibility in environment matters. So for the protection of our environment, yes, government is taking some steps. And next one here is they are also going to come up with the future environmental policies beyond this step. by MP. And this one here is, yes, this decision is okay, well and good, but now opposition party raised one question like why Ujjain is exempted. So because of this, what happened? We can understand the role of opposition parties. So if we don't have this opposition party, how we can make executive accountable, right? So here we can understand whenever this kind of debates and discussions or the questions which raised by opposition party, yes, they will try to maintain accountability and transparency. Okay, and even they will raise the voice of unheard. For example, the public acceptance or like policy effectiveness. So these questions will be asked by this opposition party. So here there is a question you can get in your mains like what is the role of opposition party and why we need this opposition party. So whenever you're writing about what are the functions of opposition party, and now you can use this kind of recent current affairs and you can say that yes, in this step of government, opposition party asked this question, raised this question, why there is exemption of Ujjain. Okay, so in this way, you can add value to your answer so that you will be getting edge in your mains for sure. Believe me. And this one here is you can understand about what are the environmental initiatives to came up by the government. Especially they are focusing on Amarkantak development. Why Amarkantak? Because this Narmada river originated in this Amarkantak, right? So they are focusing on Amarkantak development and they're also coming up with a dedicated authority. So with this dedicated authority, we can understand the structured approach to our environmental conservation, and even especially these religious sites are very famous for tourism, right? So here we need to focus on even sustainable tourism. So recently there was one article in our newspaper regarding Jammu and Kashmir, how the tourism is affecting that, right? So because of this, whenever any state which is dependent on the tourism, they have to focus on sustainable tourism. So this point also you can add. And this one is public sentiment. So there are some mixed reactions from the public and political entities, which reveals that a complex landscape of support is very much important regarding controlling of meat and as well as alcohol consumption. Because alcoholic consumption is one of the important reasons for the increasing of crimes in our country. So especially in this pilgrimage sites, if you want to maintain sanctity, yes, we have to do that. And even these areas are very important because they attract more tourists and that is helpful for the state GDP and as well as overall country's GDP. So we have to control the crime. So for that also it is very important. And actually whenever people they wants to go to any religious site, so they wants to maintain, they need proper privacy and security, right? So for that also we have to reflect what are the policies we are coming up, that should reflect broader societal values, and we need a proper future legislation to control this thing in the future across the country. And actually, so this article is saying that yes, we are going to have a long-term vision to commit to this sustainable practices, and even you're focusing on encouraging of a holistic approach to environmental management. So these are the things that you can take away from this article. And say this article, 4 locations in Kollam's Astamudi Lake unfit for bathing, says CPCB. So here there are two important things. Okay, so first of all, if you see this image, you can understand. So this lake is filled with plastic waste and as well as garbage. And especially what is this lake is about? It is about Astamudi Lake. What are the keywords? There are two keywords. First one is Astamudi Lake. So in which state we have this lake? In Kerala. And second thing is about plastic pollution. Okay, plastic and garbage pollution in water bodies. Plastic and garbage pollution in water bodies. Okay, so here, what are the dimensions you have to see? So in your world geography, you will be seeing about lakes. So there you have to see about different types of lakes. You have to see different types of lakes. Okay, so in these different types, you have to see based on their formation, based on salinity, etc. and you have to draw India map, and you have to see which are the lakes present in India, because many a times already the question asked in your UPSC, like they gave the lakes. Okay, in this way you can get question in pairs. You will be getting lakes on one side, lake name, and next one is in the state which is located, and which type of lake is it, like freshwater lake or saltwater lake. And they'll be giving you 2 to 3 pairs, and they will ask like identify the correct pairs or incorrect pairs. So the recent trend had been changed in asking questions in your UPSC prelims, so you have to be aware of that. So for that you have to know which are the lakes present. For example, Wooler Lake, Dal Lake, and Renuka Lake, Kolleru, Pulikat. Okay, like that. We have different lakes in our country and in which state. So I'll give you one suggestion. Take the list of lakes based on the state. So take one state like Jammu and Kashmir and write down which are the lakes present, and you have to note down whether it is a freshwater or saltwater lake. So in this way, do this exercise. So this is a exam. This is a homework for you guys. Don't forget. And next important one is you have to say this. So plastic and garbage pollution is not a problem of just India, but it is a problem of entire world, because even in our big major oceans like Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, so we have this plastic garbage patch. They are called as Great Plastic Garbage Patch. So as you all know that in our ocean, so ocean currents will be moving, and between we have gyres. So in this gyre, so this plastic had been accumulated. So we are saying that Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Okay. So now this article is saying that there is accumulation of garbage and as well as plastic happened in this Astamudi lake. So because of this, it became unfit for using even for bathing. So here you have to know about criteria of measuring the pollution in water. You have to know the criteria of measuring pollution water, and you have to know some facts regarding CPCB. So just you can expect prelims based question regarding what is a CPCB. Okay, let us see this article in detail. So the Central Pollution Control Board has reported to National Green Tribunal that water quality in this Astamudi Lake, especially in 4 sites, even does it is not meeting the bathing standards. So keep it aside for drinking. So even for bathing also it is not at all suitable. Okay, so this is the thing which mainly said. And here CPCB also highlighted that yes, there are some concerns regarding pollution, like microplastic even they found in the local marine life. So they caught some fishes, and in that fishes also microplastic is there, and even sediments. So because of this, so they are asking this National Green Tribunal to identify from where the pollution is happening, which are the sources of the pollution in this lake, and how you have to improve this water quality. So these are the questions asked by the CPCB to NGT. Okay, so now let us see how to use this article. So whenever you're writing any answer regarding plastic pollution, garbage pollution in the water bodies, you can use this article as a case study. Like, so recently CPCB conducted a survey, and it found that, conducted a study, and it found that 4 sites in this Assamudi lake, they're not even meeting the standards for bathing. So in that way, you can use this article as an example. Okay, so what are the keywords that you have to get? First one here is what are the water quality standards we have to meet. So we are not at all following those standards. So because of this, we can understand that there is serious environmental pollution, particularly in some areas which are designated for recreational use. And there are some issues regarding public health and as well as safety. And next one here is, yes, we are throwing plastic here and there. So finally, they will be dumping in this water bodies. So in that water also we have environment, right? So we have biodiversity. So we have marine organisms. So they will be feeding on that. So here, what happens? So that plastic will be not get digested properly, right? And they are not even biodegradable. So because of this, that plastic will be torn off into small pieces that is called as microplastic, and even the tissues of that microorganism. So this microplastics had been accumulated. So this is serious concern. because you know about this concept called as biomagnification, bioaccumulation. That means whenever we are consuming that fish with that tissues filled of this microplastic, that will be also entering into our body. And recently in America, one study was made. In that study, they found that even the human blood, they are having microplastics. Okay, so there is a danger of transferring of this pollutants from this marine organisms to the higher level in our trophic, in our higher levels of trophic system. So this is the thing that you have to understand. And here this article is saying that yes, there is an important step we have to take, and especially government need to be intervened, and state intervention is especially very important, especially at this local levels. It is a responsibility of municipalities and panchayats to protect and to manage these aquatic environments so that we can ensure sustainable development. So whenever you are writing about the role of local self-government, either it may be municipalities or panchayats, you can add this role of maintaining the health of aquatic environment. Okay, so this is a one value added point you can use in your polity. And next one here is, yes, you know that if the wetlands are not in a good conditions, they can be recognized as a Ramsar site so that they will be getting funds and they can maintain that. So now here Astamadi Lake should be recognized as a Ramsar site. Okay, and it need to be getting funds so that we can maintain the proper water quality, and we have to preserve its biodiversity. And next important one here is, so who are throwing this plastic? That is public. So public need to be get aware about the harmful impacts of throwing plastic. Okay, we have to raise awareness, and we have to mobilize the community to take actions towards this environment protection. And next one is monitoring and accountability. So your CPCB needs to monitor the program, and it needs to come up with the proper environment oversight, and it is very helpful for compilation of rules and regulations, and we have to follow, or we have to meet this water quality norms. And we need long-term environmental strategy to address this current pollution so that we can prevent future hazards in this Kollam's water bodies. Actually, this Kerala's water bodies is very important. They are very special because they are called as backwaters. So that is very helpful for the inland transport system. Okay. So if you see some facts regarding this Astamudi Lake, it is a Ramsar wetland. So where it is located in Kollam district of Kerala, and it is very beautiful lake, and which is having 8 channels that are connected into one lake. It is also called as 8 arms lake. Because of this, the name called as Astamudi. Asta means like 8. So it is the second largest lake in Kerala. And next one here is Kallada River is one of the major source of the water for this Astamudi Lake. And if you see the historical significance, even this Astamudi Lake had been written somewhere in a book which belongs to 14th century. Okay, so in that book they said that there was one ancient city of Pelion. Okay, so that is one of the important thing that had been mentioned in the 14th century book also. That means, so historically this Astamudi Lake was very important. Okay, and even one of a foreign explorer, that is Moroccan. So in his Ibn Battuta, he highlighted about this city, which is located in the banks of this Astamudi Lake, and it is one of the major trading centers in our ancient period. Okay, so here this so and so lake is also having historical significance. So you have to know and you have to preserve this historical significance. Okay, let us see next article. Title says panel formed to boost industrial safety in AP. So recently what happened in AP? In one medical or pharma industry, there was accident and many people they had been died. So it is an example of industrial disaster. So to stop this kind of disasters further in that state, they are going to come up with a panel. So where can you connect this article? In your GS paper 3, disaster management, and as well as in GS paper 2, governance. So from these two subjects point of view, you have to see this. Okay, let us see this article. Context says that Andhra Pradesh government constituted a high-level committee for what? To recommend organization, legal and administrative measures to prevent industrial disaster in future because of recent incident of fire and pharmaceutical manufacturing unit of Essentia Advanced Sciences Private Limited. So here you have to know about what is operational safety and as well as health. So this concept is very important. So occupational safety and health, which deals with all aspects of health and safety at the workplace, and they're especially having a very strong focus on primary prevention of hazards. And what is the important goal of maintaining of operational safety and health here is, so here we want to prevent accidents and we want to prevent or reduce the harm to the people from work related activities. And especially, you know about the welfare of labor. So it comes under concurrent list. That means both state governments and as well as central government, they have the responsibility to make the laws in this concurrent list. So it is a nodal agency taking care of labor. So we have Ministry of Labor and Employment. Okay, so that is the thing that you have to remember. And if you go deep here, so recently ILO came up with a report on occupational safety and health. So this report says, like, gives the highlights of how we are focusing on safety and health in our country. So work related health hazard, if you see, so in India we are having a very long working hours. Almost because of that 7.5 lakh people, they are dying in our country, and as per this is 2016. Okay, so they will come into contact with this some particulate matter, gases or fumes. So because of this, injuries are happening at this workplace. And if you see globally, about 30 lakh people, they are dying globally because of work related accidents and as well as work related deaths. And more than 63% of these deaths are reported especially from Asia Pacific region, and we are part of Asia. So this is one cause of concern. And the rate of non-melanoma skin cancer is also increased over 37% from 2000 to 2020. Okay, and if you see what are the issues why we are not maintaining the proper occupational safety in India, it is because of predominance of unorganized sector and informal sectors. So as you all know that more than 90% of our economy is belonging to informal or unorganized sector. So because of this, what happened here is, yes, we can't take proper measures. So we can't oversee, we can't oversight this kind of implementation of the things or not. So because of this, yes, it is one of the primary reasons for increasing of occupational safety and health hazards in our country. And next very important topic from your economy is effective oil import duty 25%. Farmers will benefit, says Chauhan. So this article is very important and you have to know about import duty and export duty. Okay. Let me explain you those concepts, and later on we are going to see on which products import duty increased or export duty decreased. Okay. First one is import duty. Okay. First one is import duty. Next one is export duty. I think in your economic classes you had been done with this topic of import duty and export duty. So as you all know that since 1991 we made this LPG reforms, liberalization, privatization and globalization. So now every country is interconnected with another country related to trade. So what are the components of trade? We have imports and we have exports. So what are the imports? We are bringing from other country. Exporting means we are giving to other countries. So what is this import duty? So on our imports, whenever we are getting products from foreign countries, so this domestic country is imposing duty. It is nothing but like tax. Okay. So this is called as import duty. So what happens if import duty is raised? Obviously, the cost of this foreign goods will be high. Okay, cost of this foreign goods will be high. So whenever those goods are coming into our Indian market, so in this Indian market we are having the foreign goods. On another side we are also having Indian goods. So Indian goods will be having low cost and foreign goods will be having high cost. That means we can promote our domestic goods. We can promote our domestic goods and even indigenous industries. I hope you understand this concept. And next one is on exports. So on exports also, whenever our Indian products we are sending to other countries. we are sending to other countries, that is called as exports. So take two scenarios. Whenever there is increasing of export duty, and next one is decreasing of export duty. Okay, let me take another page. So I'm talking about here exports, exporting of Indian goods to foreign market. So this is foreign market. So here Indian goods are entering into foreign market. So here you have to take two scenarios: increasing of export duty. Next one is decreasing of export duty. So whenever there is increasing of export duty or tax on this, what happen in international market? There will be increasing of price. Then what happen? There will be low demand. Okay, there will be low demand. So even in this international market, we have other foreign goods. So they will be having low price compared to Indian goods, so that there will be high demand for this international or other foreign goods in international market. So this is the first scenario. And what happens in the second scenario? Whenever we are decreasing export duty, so whenever our indigenous goods, they are entering into international market, the price will be low. Because of this, there is increased demand. So here in the same market, we will be having foreign goods. So foreign goods will be having more price and there will be less demand. So till now we discussed about only foreign market. So here we are having Indian market. We should not forget about our Indian market, right? Okay. So let us take this same scenario. Here we have Indian market. So whenever we are increasing export duty, what happened? So many Indians, they don't want to export to other countries. So in our Indian markets, we can increase availability of goods. Okay, we can increase availability of goods. For example, there is decreasing of export duty. That means we are supporting exports. So whenever we are supporting exports, there will be decreased availability of Indian goods in Indian markets. So whenever we are increasing export duty, means we are discouraging exports. So I hope you understand the concept. So let me explain you once again. So import duty, whenever we are increasing import duty, so foreign goods will become costly compared to that of Indian goods, so that we can support our indigenous industries. Whenever we are decreasing import duty, means foreign goods will become cheaper compared to that of Indian goods, so that what happened? Foreign goods will be having more demand in our Indian market. And the second case, whenever you're seeing about export duty, whenever there is increasing of export duty, we are discouraging the export, so that we can ensure the availability of Indian goods in Indian market. So whenever we are decreasing export duty, that means government wants to improve the exports, so that there will be decreasing of availability of Indian goods in the Indian market. Okay. So now let us go to this article. It talked about two important things. So first one is, government said that increasing of import duty of edible oil. Okay, let us go back. So it is talking about import duty. So here in import duty for oil, there is increased import duty on oil. So what happens whenever there is increasing of import duty? So whenever we are increasing this import duty, means what happens? So whatever the oil that we are getting into India will become costly. Okay, foreign oil will be getting costly compared to that of Indian oil. So it will come costly compared to that of Indian oil. That means in our Indian market, there will be increased demand for which oil? Indian oil. That means it will be benefiting for whom? Indian farmers. Clear? So there is a measure taken by government to increase the income of farmers by increasing import duty on oil. So this is the first one they said, and especially on which oils like soya bean oil or green gram. And next one they talked about export duty. So they removed the minimum export duty on basmati rice and even reduced export duty on onions. Okay, let us see about here export duty. So in this export, so they decreased this export duty now. Okay, so in this export duty, they decreased export duty on one is onions and next one is basmati rice. So a decreasing of export duty means government is promoting exports. Government is promoting exports of this onions and as well as basmati rice. So here because of increasing of exports we will be getting some foreign currency and we can maintain our foreign exchange reserves. But what happens? So there will be decreasing of availability of this basmati rice and onions. So because of this decreasing of export duty, it will be having impact on our domestic economy for sure. So in future, what happens? There may be increase of price of onions. Okay, so that's the thing that you have to see. This is this article. I hope it is clear, right? Okay, so our Union Agriculture Minister welcomed this step of decreasing of export duty on onions from 40 to 20% and even minimum export duty on basmati rice, and on the other side they increased import duty on this edible oil. Okay, so this is the thing why it is in news and what will be the implications. So here whenever they are increasing import duty on this edible oil, so it will be ensuring support for the local farmers, especially who are growing the soya bean. They will be getting better prices for their crops so that we can stimulate the domestic production of this oil. And next one here is even they are focusing on this export duty changes. So they came up with removal of minimum export duty on basmati rice so that it will be enhancing market competitiveness of Indian farmers in the foreign market so that it will be raise both domestic prices and as well as export demand. And this one here is we are also focusing on control of this price of onions. So actually we are reducing onion export duty and we are selling onion rupees 35 per kg for others so that we are managing this inflation. And next one here is we are focusing on market stabilization, that like they are providing minimum price for the soya beans so that they want to stabilize the agriculture market so that they want to protect the farmers from price fluctuations. Okay, so these are the things that you have to see. And one more problem here is we don't have proper logistic for the transport. So here we have to focus on the logistics for onion distribution so that we can reduce the post-harvest losses so that we can reach the customers on time. Okay, so because of this import duty and export duty changes, it will be having lot of impact on our economy for sure. Okay, so this is the thing that you have to remember. And see one more article, post-glacial ecosystems could help to slow down climate change, says decade-long study. Okay, so I want to say one thing here. So as we all know that because of climate change, glaciers are melting off. So because of glacier melting, so we had lot of problem. But this study is saying that even after once these glaciers will be melting, so we are going to get new ecosystem. So we are going to have a revival of ecosystem. So this is the one new study. Okay. Okay, let us see this article. So a decade-long study which had been published in this Nature, and this paper which reveals that, so after this post-glacial ecosystem, so they are emerging from retreating glacier. Retreating is nothing but melting of glaciers. So after the melting of glaciers, whatever the post-glacial ecosystem that we are going to get, that will be very helpful for mitigating of climate change despite of initial impacts of deglacialization. So whenever this melting of glaciers will be happening, initially we will be having negative impacts. After once that is done, we are going to revive our ecosystem. That newly formed ecosystem will be helpful for mitigating of climate change. That is a problem. So that is a problem that we are going to face, right? Because of climate change. So because of climate change, in turn it will lead to melting of glaciers. And after melting of glaciers, whatever the barren land that we see, so after that the revival of the ecosystem that will be happen, and that in turn will be addressing this climate change. That means it is a cyclical thing. First one, here we have glaciers. Okay, here we have glaciers. Okay, so these are the glaciers. What is happening here? Melting of glaciers. So melting of glaciers initially will cause negative impacts. So after melting of glaciers, what happens? We see formation of barren land. On this barren land, there will be revival of ecosystem. And this ecosystem will mitigate climate change. So what is the cause of melting of glaciers? Climate change will be addressed by this. So this is a cyclical thing that had been revealed in this recent study. Okay, let us see the key points. The climate change is happening. So how we can see that climate change is happening? Because of melting of glaciers, it is one of the sign. Because of increasing of temperature, obviously this ice will be getting melted. So here we can understand that we have to take urgent steps to control this. So here this article is also saying that deglaciation will happen. So initially because of this deglacialization, that will be having negative impacts like increasing of sea water level, and it will be affecting the whole water system because all the oceans are interconnected, and that will cause inundation of some coastal areas. So people from the coast areas, they have to move into interior, and again socio-economic challenges they will be facing. Okay, lots and lots of problems. But even though after once this glaciers melted, so there will be evolution of new ecosystem. So because of this, they provide a unique opportunity to counteract some effects caused by this climate change. So why? Because in this study they understand about the role of microorganisms. So the rapid colonization by these microorganisms is very crucial, and actually they will prepare the soil for more complex life forms so that we can have proper resilience of nature soon. And especially this study also says that within this 10 years they studied about ecological succession. So you know about this ecological succession, right? So we have primary succession, we have secondary succession, right? No idea. From a bare rock, so first mosses and lichens will form. After that, small plants, trees, and that will be forming into a forest. So this is called as ecological succession. Whenever the formation of ecosystem is happening for the first time where earlier there was no life, that is called as primary succession. Secondary means, yes, in the forest wildfire happened. For example, any volcano burst had happened. Because of that, lava came out, and that led to destruction of ecosystem. After some years, what happened? There will be again life will be starting forming. That is called as secondary succession. Very good, ecology and environment. Okay, so here if you see ecosystem development time, so this study which said that as quickly as possible, because of microorganisms we can recover and we can adapt to the climate change. Okay, so this is a thing which mainly said. And even in this post glacial areas, we can establish vital habitats for the new species which are already had been threatened by this climate change, because they will be having a concept called as adaptability. They can adaptable to the environment. So this is about the study. And other articles are, the first one is, can light pollution be a new risk factor for Alzheimer? So do you know about this Alzheimer disease? Alzheimer disease is nothing but memory loss. Especially in old people, they will be having this problem of Alzheimer's. So how many of you will sleep by switching on the light? So if you sleep by switching on the light and through the entire night, yes, your memory will be get affected because of your circadian rhythms. So actually, I too feeling this. So after once my delivery is done, so I started sleeping by switching on lights because I have to take care of my two kids in the night. So from that time onwards, and even there is no proper sleep for me, so there is some impact that I'm seeing on my memory. So earlier, if I see once, or if I read once, or if I watch once, I used to remember for a long period of time, but now I'm getting the shorter memory. It is because of light. So I think that this study is obviously true. It is true in my case. Next one here is, study finds that ozone pollution reduces tropical forest growth. So whenever you're writing about the deforestation or decreasing of biosystem or biodiversity or environment or ecosystem, especially regarding this tropical forest, yes, even pollution is also one of the important cause for this decreasing of growth in this tropical forest. So this had been done in one study, and here you have to see about in our world where this tropical forest are seen, tropical evergreen forest. So it will be from 5 degrees north to 5 degrees south, and you have to see what is the exact reason for that. Okay, so these are the important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding, and thank you so much for watching. And if you like this class, hit the like button, and please do share this class to your friends, and do subscribe to Rathods IS Academy. Thank you guys.